Daredevil, in my opinion, is the gold standard when it comes to a comic book show, as it's able to combine great cinematography with rich characters and outstanding action into a 3-season masterpiece worthy of praise no matter what genre. So when the Marvel Netflix shows were all cancelled, I had hoped that Marvel would make Daredevil a high priority going forward, after what was such a strong series. So after it was announced that Daredevil would come back with both Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio reprising their roles for a new show on Disney Plus, my hopes were high as I expected Marvel to continue to put a large amount of respect and effort into the shows they were making. But unfortunately, that turned out not to be the case.
Like the gold devil. I'm Daredevil.
But before Born Again was released, Marvel was seemingly desperate to cash in on the success of the original show by putting Daredevil and Kingpin in multiple different shows and featuring them heavily in advertisements, as they would show up in most trailers and other promo material, despite them having little screen time. Especially in Matt's case, as he only appears in one scene in Echo, despite him being in pretty much every trailer I watched. And in She-Hulk, Matt is the main character in one of the episodes, but he's unsurprisingly dumbed down and lazily shoehorned in, as you could replace him with any random lawyer and the court scene would only slightly change. Both shows basically just use him for advertisement purposes, which is blatantly obvious in Echo's case, as no one would have cared if Fisk and Matt weren't involved, and I don't even think the show would have been made if they hadn't featured. But my problems with how they used Matt are nothing compared to how they used Fisk, as they took him from one of the most dangerous non-powered villains in the Marvel Universe to a complete neuter bitch that gets defeated in about half an episode. Holy fuck, I don't know how you butcher a character this badly. In Daredevil, he was a man that would manipulate and control everything, bend things to his will, have people killed for even saying his name. Healy even fucking slammed his head onto a spike just so Fisk and his men wouldn't get to him and kill everyone he cared about. That shows the level of power and control Fisk has, the fear he puts into everyone around him. Now, in Hawkeye, and especially in Echo, he's just some bad guy that's easily defeated by the heroes with little effort. They also almost completely take away the caged animal side of his character that comes out when he gets angry and makes up most of the way he fights, as he just uses his raw strength and rage to completely destroy and kill people. That Fisk is an animal that's ready to lash out and kill a business partner key to his organization with a fucking car door. He held his own with Matt and other skilled fighters, and now he loses to fucking Kate Bishop. His whole character leading into and during his fight with Kate is so fucking stupid, as they basically turn him into a cartoon character. They give him a stupid hat and shirt, he's able to rip a car door clean off, he stops an arrow shot into his chest like it's nothing, gets hit by a car and gets right back up, and sends Kate flying 20 feet through the air like she weighs 2 pounds. What the fucking hell are they doing with his character? This Fisk is not someone to be feared. He's a clown they can put up against characters no one cares about and have him lose. And I know the logical response is that they're two different characters entirely, but now that they're tying in more and more of the Marvel Netflix canon, I can't accept that as an excuse anymore. I think the real reason is that the untalented people in charge don't know how to write interesting and complex characters, so they just ride the coattails of more talented people that created a quality show they can only dream of making.
Hey, you're garbage! Is that it? Is that your best?
Now, to get out of the way, I don't completely hate all of Born Again. I think most of what the second crew shot is good, but the inverse is the case when it comes to what the original team created, as I dislike to downright hate what they made. Most of the characters they try to introduce in Born Again, either on Matt or Fisk's side, fall flat on their face as they're not given any real depth or personality. Powell, for example, his whole personality is that he's an asshole cop, which is alright, but we've already gotten that character before with Hoffman and Blake in Season 1, who were way more effective as side antagonists, as they were extensions of Fisk and had the sway to affect things. Powell is just some nobody cop that Fisk later recruits as part of his asshole cop squad. Cherry's personality is that he's Matt's info guy. He's also his eyes and ears with the police. He also thinks that being Daredevil is going to destroy Matt's life, So he's basically just Brett without the likability and Foggy without the long term friendship that makes us care about their relationship, as I could care less if Cherry stops helping Matt. Buck is James Wesley. Just strip away all the interesting parts of his character, and you're left with Buck, as he never gets any defining traits except for being Fisk's shady assistant. And part of the reason, to me at least, why the original show is so good is that they could have been lazy and wrote characters like Buck, but they went the extra mile and wrote interesting supporting characters like Wesley, Marcy, Miss Cardenas, Father Lantom, and Ben Urich that actually make us care about what happened to them. One character they did do a good job with, however, is Hector Ayala, as unlike other new characters, he has some depth and life in his eyes and is actually likable, unlike the other ones. The court scenes are like most things shot for the original Born Again, are just worse versions of what the Netflix show had, even down to putting the vigilante on the stand, a key witness blowing up the case, and having to resort to a Hail Mary to try and win. I believe a massive reason Born Again fails is that they can't capture the heart of the original show. They try to interject some in a couple different places, but in the large majority, it falls entirely short of any success, as Hector and his family are the only ones I end up caring about, as they feel like real people and not hollow shells for Matt and Fisk to interact with. As the only time I feel any emotion outside of the Ayala family is when Karen, Foggy, or Frank are involved, as those scenes are done really well, as Foggy's death and especially the Frank basement scene makes me emotional as it shows how much Matt is destroyed by what happened and hasn't accepted it and moved on. And the fact that Foggy's ghost, just like Frank's son, haunts him, reminding him of his failure, is great, as we've already seen Matt have his dad and Fisk somewhat haunt him in season 3. But all of that was part of the reshoots. Instead, the original showrunners gave us bland, hollow characters with no emotion or personality behind them. All of the problems with Born Again come together in what is far and away the worst episode out of all 4 seasons. Episode 5, With Interest. Holy shit, I hate this episode. It has no redeeming qualities. The writing sucks, as nothing has any depth and lacks any emotion. It's boring as hell. The robbers are bland, and the only quality that distinguishes them from a hole in the ground is that they're Irish. And the worst of all of it.
And I got a 1994 Marc Messier signed puck.
Fuck Marc Messier, you bald prick! Fuck you!
Sorry. What I meant to say was, the fights, the thing that put Daredevil on the map, are by far and away the worst in the series, as the one in the stairwell is almost unwatchable compared to the others, as it's just one action, cut, another action, cut, which makes it incredibly slow and dumbs it down into a sloppy mess of a fight that, unfortunately, is the norm when it comes to the original shot fight scenes. As for the most part, Matt doesn't even fight in his normal Daredevil style. And when he does, they throw CGI over it, which makes it look completely ass. To be fair though, they do also use it in the new fight scenes, so it's probably just a studio directive to use it, despite it making it look worse. But you gotta take a serious look at yourself. If your fight scenes are worse than the ones in She-Hulk that Matt takes a part in, you're trash. Also, the fumbling of what could have been a really interesting character in Muse and making him a whining, sniveling little bitch that gets killed by Heather is a complete waste of a character. And having watched Fisk already gain a large amount of power 3 times already, having him do it again, but this time with the least amount of intrigue or really any challenge outside of small pushbacks from Gallo, Luca, and BB, makes that rise to power by far the least interesting and well executed to date. But maybe this is what Disney wants for their shows, to range from trash to mediocre, so they don't have to put any real effort into making good product and continue to pump out garbage over and over and over. But maybe for Daredevil at least, there is some hope. As I stated before, most of my problems are with the original Born Again, not with the reshot stuff, as most of it is good and makes me very optimistic that with a clean slate for season 2, that this crew can make a show that might not rival the original Netflix seasons in quality, but will hopefully give them the proper respect that a sequel series needs to give it, as it is a masterpiece and deserves more than what Disney has done. Thank you for watching.